What are you typing? Are you ready? It's already 11:20.
It's not. It's 1:25. All right.
I rolled my eyes at you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Playbook of the Wealthy. My name is Dave Grant. My co-host is Heather Townsend. Today we are not getting technical, kind of, but we're talking about the different types of advice that we give people in our different thinking that may rock the boat of your regular personal finance person. If you've not been here before, you have to like, comment, subscribe, follow, send this episode to your mom. You have to do all of those things. So don't think that you can just do one. But if you just do one, that's great too. There is a disclaimer.
Comments. I like your comments.
They're coming in hot and fast right now, so keep them coming. And I respond to them. So if you want to have a conversation with me, maybe you'll be lucky.
You've been responding to the comments?
Yeah, on our YouTube channel, which you frequently monitor, just to make sure everything's looking good.
Thank you.
Oh, I threw her under the bus there. Anyway, disclaimers are coming at the end, just because Jordan wanted to save his piece until the end. So we respect his opinion. So moving into our content, there's 4 segments to our podcast. First one is learning about us professionally. We dive into content. We then do questions and you learn about us personally. Without further ado, Heather, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm trying to do this once a month, but I block an entire week where I have no client meetings. Because when I have client meetings, things come up, I have things to do. I love them, but also not a lot of work on the business happens. And last week, I got to work on the business. I hadn't done my books all year, Dave.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that felt good. And then, just reviewing return assumptions in the financial planning, like my financial planning software, like reviewing portfolio allocations, like all that stuff that just makes me feel good inside, like checking in on clients that you haven't heard from in a little bit on things, just following up, just all those little things that weren't urgent that kind of fall through the cracks as you're, in client meetings as things are going on. So It was a really good week.
That's great. All right. So you know how I think a lot of advisors have felt the first part of 2025 has been slower than they expected. Yeah. In terms of client activity or new client activity or marketing and whatnot, and just seeing results of that. And so same for me. That's why we're doing a lot of stuff. But it was almost like the universe was like, just wait a second, just be patient, and then smacks you around the face. It's like, this is what you've been waiting for. Literally, I had 5 emails in a row of clients saying, we have money moving. How do we get this done? Like, or I'm changing a job, I need to move my 401k, or this happened as a family, there's money moving. We're selling a family business, this is happening. And it's like, bam, bam, bam. And you're like, okay, I asked for this, and now I have it all in one go. So it's what we asked for.
It always comes in waves. I'm here for it.
Well, it's interesting because it's in the summer, and I've got all this stuff planned out that I want to get done in the summer. I'm like, okay, that's not urgent stuff, but if I want to get it done and now I have to do all this client stuff, something's going to have to give, and it's obviously not client stuff. So some of the stuff internally I want to do is going to have to wait.
I mean, I'm definitely slower than I am in tax season, right? Or year-end tax planning. This is definitely, I have more space. I couldn't block a week like I did last week in tax season, but Lisa laughs. She goes, yeah, you're the advisor that's busy in the summer. Okay, speaking of that, Dave, we're going to try not to argue.
I'm not promising anything because I'm in that mood today.
Oh no. Okay. What I will say is there's many amazing advisors out there, but in general, I think Dave and I are much more comprehensive financial planners than a majority of financial planners. And I do think we have some differing advice, and we also differ on advice. And we're going to talk about that today. And I'm excited to dive in.
Can't say that.
I can't say that. I'm always told what I
say the full segment when you do it, and then that cues our sound effect. Go on.
No, why don't you just say it? We're already arguing. I hope you don't cut this. Dave, just say, let's dive in.
You know what I'm going to do? You just said, let's dive in. So I'm going to cut that and you introduce the segment. Congratulations.
Oh, okay.
All right,
This
you're
is
starting us
awkward.
off. You're
All right.
starting us off. What is your first piece of different advice that we may or may not argue on?
I think rebalancing, we're not going to argue on. I think we actually agree on this one. I think advisors that don't give comprehensive advice, and so they're hanging their hat just on investments, right? They're like, you're paying me my 1% or whatever it is because I manage your investments. And then they tout, and I rebalance for you and all of this. But what's so funny is frequent rebalancing hurts returns. And there's tax drag if you're in a taxable account. Like there, and literally I was reminded of this because I have some male advisors that surround me sometimes, and they all use this rebalance. And I'm like, I mean, yes, when it makes sense. Okay, in this article, rebalancing is important. If you rebalance too frequently, like quarterly, for example, you actually hurt returns kind of materially. So this study, the study was a 60-40 portfolio, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, typical for a retiree portfolio. And it was over the past 29 years. And in the past 29 years, there's been 5 bull markets and 4 bear markets. I think that's a pretty good balance. So quarterly rebalancing performed the worst. Annual return was 6.7, or returns were 6.7. If you rebalanced annually, it was a little better, 6.77. If you waited until there was a 10% drift, then it got to 7.14. So that's almost a half a basis point better, compounded. So, be careful if you have a financial advisor that goes, I'm rebalancing for you. I rebalance quarterly so that I can justify my fee. They're actually hurting your returns.
It's interesting if an advisor says, I'm rebalancing your portfolio quarterly, because you don't need to do that. You just showed that. But from a advisor business design perspective, if you have someone is living off their portfolio, technically you should have like a year's worth of fees or income lined up for them, because why would you try and time the market to generate income for them? You should be reviewing every quarter to make sure that things are good. But if you're essentially saying, I'm rebalancing every quarter regardless of the drift, that's stupid. If it's drifted 0.5%, you would rebalance. That's silly. All right, here's a question to give your advisor. If they are rebalancing frequently in a brokerage account and they tout that as something that is amazing, go back and say, well, what's my tax consequence of you rebalancing so much? If they can't answer you that question, then you have to find someone new because they are not looking at the whole picture. Now it's my turn.
Go.
This one's actually personal.
Oh, I love this story. I know which story you're going to tell because we talked through it.
We did. Heather was my financial sounding board for this decision.
Yeah.
Me and my wife have been saving for retirement. She also has a pension. We're doing saving to 401ks, 403bs. So it's all tax deferred. We also want to remodel our house.
You totally just, her pension is good.
Ridiculously good. That's why Illinois is in such a problem, but it's okay.
You're going to benefit.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds me. I love you, Illinois. Anyway, so our savings, it was probably 20% of our income.
Okay.
So reasonable amount.
Yeah.
Now we're looking to do substantial remodeling to our house. We're talking windows, kitchen, flooring, other parts of what we're doing. We are stopping all of our retirement savings and putting it into the remodel of our house. That is advice that I don't know if an advisor would give, to stop all your savings to throw it into remodel of a house. There's obviously other things going on in our life that I'm not going to share here because they're not for certain. But this is a big goal that we want to accomplish. And I don't want to do it completely through debt of a HELOC. I want to throw cash that we have. We'll eventually get back to our retirement savings. But for the next 2 years, all of our excess cash flow is going to our house.
But you're in a very different situation. Because I also think financial advisors get a bad, and I know this is true, most financial advisors, I've come to find out, don't take their own advisor in a horrible financial situation, which makes me so mad. But anyways.
It's like fat doctors.
Yes. So I want to be clear, like when we talked, you're not one of those. You, with your personal financial situation, your wife is getting a promotion, I believe, which has increased her pension significantly. And with that pension, which is very likely that you guys will get, you don't need a lot from like retirement, like outside assets. So yeah, live today, die with zero. And you know what's interesting? I actually have done this with a client. One of my clients is renovating their house. They're putting an addition on because they're growing family, and likely they might inherit money. And they were like, we're stopping, besides the match, of course, 401k match, I'm not giving that away, but we're not putting as much to meet their 20% income, goal, because I'm like, you're probably going to inherit money and I don't want you to be paying a HELOC interest rate, right? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I wish I could see the reaction of professionals who might be listening to this. I just want to see their face. No, you're not saving anything? Nope.
Yeah, but you guys, it's different. It's not like you have zero either. You're not in credit card debt. You have assets. You have a stable net worth, and you're getting a pension. Different situation.
You haven't seen my kitchen design. I'm joking.
I mean, Dave, you're talking to the wrong person.
I know. As soon as I said that, I'm like, I know about your kitchen design. All right. What's your next one?
I think you might disagree with this. I tell my clients that about margin, that they can borrow against their assets in their brokerage account. And I'm okay with it to a point, but I tell them about it.
I guess it depends what for.
Very true. Most of my clients that are doing this is to buy another investment, right? We're not like borrowing Paul to go for living expenses, right?
That was a great analogy. The other guy's name is Peter.
Peter.
You're robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Yeah. Did that work in this situation?
No.
I'm always so bad with those things. But anyways, right? My clients aren't borrowing for consumption reasons. It's for like a big goal. And I have my clients keep cash, but not unnecessarily amounts of cash, because we know that depreciates over time. But when, some big goal or something comes along that they really want, second home, investment property, I don't know.
How are they handling the margin loan? Are they paying it down like they would like a HELOC as they go through the project?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. What's your next?
We're going to argue on this next one. Whew. All right. You ready?
No, I don't know.
Yes, you are. I am perfectly fine with clients going into debt to finance experiences and not things. So let me give you an example.
Oh, yes, I saw this. I'm not. Yeah, I don't agree with this.
So I think I am okay if people are like, okay, we want to take our family on a trip to Europe. That's where we're from. We're going to go explore our heritage and really take our children through the experience of where we came from. We have 5,000 saved up. It's going to cost us 12, and we estimate it's probably going to take us like 3 months to pay off the balance once we get home. I am all for that. Go and do that. I don't care if it costs you 5 months to pay off that balance when you get home, because the stories that you will have from that are going to last a lifetime. If you then say we don't have the money to do that and you just go take a generic vacation, so what? No one's really going to remember that.
I differ on that because of behavior. I'm going back to my asset accumulators. Retirees don't need to do that. You just look and see if you can take more out of the portfolio, right? I don't want them paying credit card interest at 20+%. Mm-hmm. My asset accumulators, though, definitely don't want them paying 20% plus interest. And also, I completely disagree with that. If you can't save up for it, how are you going to pay it back? I know my clients too much. Like, no, that would not work. Absolutely not. Their behavior.
It's very behavioral. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think if you've got someone who does this year after year, you cut that off.
Oh, they know, like once I give them a little bit of room, they run with it. I have clients like that, right? So And we joke about it. I'm like so honest with my clients, like the asset accumulators. Retirees know, like we don't need to negotiate, but with my asset accumulators, we sometimes come to the negotiation table. It's hysterical.
Well,
Like,
I guess if you flip it for retirees, if you're dealing with like a withdrawal rate of 4% out of the portfolio, but they want to take trips over the next 3 years, which push their withdrawal rate up to 7 or 8. Great, do it. Because I know that this is a one-time deal. This is not going to be something you're going to do for the next 15 years and deplete your portfolio. This is a lifetime experience.
That I do, for sure. I don't know if I would do that if the market was down 30%, but I would do that right now. And I have been doing it. Yes. I don't know if we've gone up to 7 to 8, but 6, yes.
That's interesting. So you're okay with increasing withdrawals out of portfolio, but not with going into debt if you can pay it off quickly. Cool. Next one.
We differ.
Keep us moving.
Okay.
For sure.
I like the not using 529s for college. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I don't think for every client 529s make sense. I think you agree on that.
I do. I think it's a nice way to go approach college savings is to use a 529 because it has a lot of benefits. But I think there's so many variables when it comes into colleges of scholarships, location, trade schools. Kids sometimes not even going. Like they open a business when they're 16 and it blows up. And now that's what they're going to do instead of pursuing college right now. So I think why pigeonhole yourself into this one savings avenue when there's so many other different ways that are more flexible? You know, if you want to do real estate, want to do a brokerage account, you can still use it for college.
I'm going to debunk the real estate thing. I don't get that, especially after if you talk through, if like people have listened to our taxation and real estate. Okay, let's say Billy is going to college. You now have to take that one tax hit in that year to get the cash out of the property or borrow against it to get it out. Like, I don't like that. I like the brokerage a lot better if you don't know, like if you don't know what you want to do, because again, the brokerage allows you to kind of piecemeal and take some of those gains out at a time as you pay for tuition. I don't like the house.
So what if that house was rented and there's no mortgage? You just funnel the rent into the college payment.
I would depend on the house. I have seen one house in my experience so far that pays enough rental income to pay for college tuition.
And sometimes it's not all or nothing. Like it's sometimes the real estate subsidizes the 529 withdrawals, or it subsidizes brokerage withdrawals. And it's kind of that multifaceted approach. Where you go now?
I mean, people already know we believe in this. Like we differ on this, but the whole retirement payoff mortgage.
Yes.
You want to pay it off. I'm like, no, but I am running a scenario right now. Don't fall over. It just shows that I'm very into data, not just my opinion. But with current mortgage rates nearing 7%, changes my mind.
Yes.
Like right now, I am definite, like the scenarios are telling me different stories. If interest rates stay where they are and this client can't refinance, I might have them pay down their mortgage.
The only reason that I'm not going to die on this hill because I have retirees who have a mortgage and they're fine with it. But when I see people and they retire, there is an uncomfortable feeling that happens when they retire and they realize they're still paying a mortgage and they have money to pay it off. And I don't know where that comes from. It could just be what they've heard over years and years and years. But I've had more than one person come in and say, I have this mortgage. I can pay for it out of my portfolio, my pension and whatnot, but I don't want to. I want to pay it off and I want to be free and clear of it. And I'm like, mathematically, it doesn't make sense, but this is your money. You can do whatever you want with it. So let's pay off your house. If
they can afford it, that's great. Again, not going to die on the hill either. I guess we don't disagree on much. This is getting annoying. Well, because it's personal, right? Like if they can financially afford it, it's going to make them feel good about their money. Like that's what I want is my clients to feel good about their money.
All right. This one, I disagree with probably most Americans on this because I am not American and I come from a very different country with a very different college culture. Even my wife yells at me for this viewpoint. I don't believe going to college and going to college completely in debt is worth it. I think you should be planning very much far ahead of time and paying cash for as much as possible, and even going to a college that isn't your ideal college if you can get a good price on another college.
So this might be too personal, but are you going to pay for your kids' college, or are you going to have them pay themselves? What is your plan?
We've talked about this as a couple. They have an amount that we will cover for their undergraduate. My son really wants to go to Purdue. Whether he gets into Purdue, that's beside the point.
Is that a private school, like expensive?
Purdue is an engineering school in Indianapolis.
Is it expensive?
So yes, it's like $45,000 a year.
Okay, that's expensive.
Because it's private.
Yeah. So you're looking
there's
at
also no
180
residency
grand.
requirements. Like you cannot move to Purdue and live in Indiana for the summer and it changes your residency and you get in-state tuition. They do not allow that. So it's $45,000 all the way through. If he gets in, fantastic. You better have a scholarship. Because if you do, you're on the hook for some of that because your budget doesn't extend as far. My wife hates that viewpoint. She's like, we should pay for it all because that was her family experience. My parents paid for it all too. It was $3,000 a year in England. So they were like, okay, great. This is really expensive. But I think if you can get an engineering degree for $20,000 a year, why would you not do that? College does not determine your career. I can tell you that because I have a degree in psychology from England that no one has verified in the United States. And I have just done, what's the phrase? Pulled my bootstraps up and got off my ass and worked hard.
I can't wait.
That counts more than a college degree.
I can't wait to tell you this client story and see what you say.
Okay.
High income client can afford this, let's say. Their child is awkward, like does not make friends easily, has a really tough time, and wants to go to this specialized private school where they will fit in and succeed because they're comfortable. Tuition is $70,000 a year. It's insane. That's insane, by the way.
Yep.
I was for it.
When you say high income, are they going to pay for this out of cash flow?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Go for it. I have clients doing the same thing too. They have 2 children, $75,000 each. They also make $1.5 million a year. I'm like, okay, it's 10% of your annual income. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you were saying it's going to cost $75,000 and we make $200,000, absolutely not.
Oh, no,
you better have savings.
That is, and I actually see people do this. There's actually a study of it that people will sometimes put themselves in bad financial positions out of guilt of being a bad parent.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not going to help your kid long term.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you can't afford it, people are more willing to not save for retirement if they're behind in retirement and go and pay for their kids' college. I'm like, you can borrow for college. You can't borrow for retirement.
Let's take this a step further. If you're going into debt or even going to college for a nothing degree, I will not let my child go and do that. You will pay 100% for that.
Yeah, we differ on this. I think the experience of going to college, it also really grew me up.
Great. Do it with a good degree.
I did. I got accounting. It was really good.
Exactly.
Actually. Yes.
Would it have been the same if, and this is going to polarize everyone here, would it have been the same if you did it with a women's studies degree?
I don't know. No, definitely not. But Dave,
it doesn't qualify you for anything.
Like when your kid goes to college, do you know what major they're going to take?
In England, you have to specify that before you go. So, yes. And my child has talked about engineering since the age of 12. So I think so. So that's why I'm like, don't go into huge debt if you actually have no clue what you're going to do when you graduated college. Why am I paying $100,000 for you to grow up?
Here's something that I will tell about. So I sit down with my clients' kids sometimes. And one of them going into student loan debt because the parents weren't going to pay for college because they just weren't, they hadn't gotten good grades historically. Let's put it that way. They weren't applying themselves. And so they were sharing with me what degree they were going to get. And I looked up how much they were going to earn, and they were going to earn $80,000 to $90,000 a year. That was the max that they could earn. and it was going to cost them like $50,000 a year to go to college. No. Like, very different to take off $200,000 of student loans if you're going to make 500 plus a year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're only making 80, 90, like, I think even without student loan debt, making $80,000 to $90,000 a year is hard to live off of.
I mean, look at doctors and lawyers. They have to take out large loans unless they're independently wealthy as a family. Like, there's really not really any other ways around it. But that doesn't guarantee them a job at the end. Are they likely to be in a high earning career if they can find a job? Yes. But what happens to the lawyers who then become prosecutors for the State Department? They don't make a lot of money. What about doctors who go and work in a nonprofit or do, Doctors Without Borders? They don't make a lot of money, but they have to pay for that experience and education to get through it. So it's the same for everything else. If you're getting a non-degree, I'm not paying for that. You better choose a degree that is providing you with skills, is highly regarded when you come out, regardless of what college you go to, and has a earning potential at the end. If you don't, that's on you. And if you want to grow up, travel the world. Nothing quicker will grow you up than seeing a third world country. I will happily pay for that.
You're making me think through this a lot more. I don't know where I stand on it. I definitely differ on you, I think, of the experience that college gives you, but I don't think I'm going to be as strict with my girls as you are, but so we might differ a little bit on that.
I'm also a pushover. So I say all this stuff and then my kid will come to me and be like, Dad, I want to go here. I'm like, cool, let's go.
Okay.
But if he comes to me and says, I want to be just like you and take a psychology degree, I'm like, nope, you can study that on your own time. Don't do a psychology degree like your dad. All right, let's go into our next segment. It's called What Would You Do? These are interesting questions because these are contentious questions as well. Kind of links into our comments. Okay. Question number 1. I've heard that owning a home is a key step in building wealth. I'm single and earn $120,000 a year. My rent is $1,200 a month, and a mortgage on a 2-bedroom townhouse would be about $3,500 a month after a small down payment. Should I take this step into home ownership?
You're going to say no. I already know. You're going to say fluffing no.
Why on earth would you?
I know you're going to say.
You pay $1,200 a month and earn $120,000 a year. That is 12% of your annual salary. You should be saving a boatload over and above this.
Dave, what if they're going to inherit a ton of money? What if their family's super wealthy?
Then they should have put that in the question.
Okay, fair. Let's pretend that's not the case. Okay, let's pretend that's not the case.
Yeah.
My answer would be maybe. I think this depends on your behavior, like we were going back to, how you spend. What do you spend on? I have some clients, it's rare because I feel like I attract the ones that are doing a lot of things, but I do have a few where they're homebodies. They buy groceries. They like to eat at home. Their hobbies or their community, it's not an expensive lifestyle. I don't know how else to explain it, right? Like, and they could afford it. Like, they can go up to 35, 40%. I know that sounds insane. It is not for the normal individual, let me say. But I do have a few clients where it's okay because they don't spend a lot in discretionary spending. It literally does not bring them joy.
I think I would push back on this one and say, are you unhappy in your place? If you are, maybe then we talk about it. But if you're perfectly fine in this rental and it's costing you $1,200, why would you move to pay more just because you can then own a home? No, if you want to own a home and you're happy, let's start saving. Let's start saving so your down payment can be 50% of the house purchase and your mortgage payment is now under $2,000.
I would never want a client to wait that long for 50%. Holy cow. Yeah, we're totally different on this. Yeah, I don't know. Or I'd be like, raise the income. It goes back to goals though. Do they really want to buy, like, if this is not a love, it definitely doesn't make sense for them. Most people that would not make sense for.
So you just agreed with me?
I said with an asterisk. Depends. Well, it's personal financial planning for a reason. I could say that until I'm pink in the face. All right. All financial planners,
They're
advisors.
terrible analogies.
I know. I'm not good
Let's
at
start
them.
discussing it.
Wait, what?
So you're not pink in the face right now? What color are you? It's blue in the face.
I know, but I wanted to use a different word. Purple?
Okay.
Purple. Purple in the face?
Well, it's blue in the face because you have no oxygen because you're talking so much.
Oh!
That's the reason why it's blue in the face. It's not just a color preference.
Connected that. I have these moments sometimes. I do. I'm so like logical and number brained, like words, not that side. Like me trying to learn a foreign language is extremely difficult.
Okay. I thought there was a reason you used pink. I was like, she's trying to girlify this, not go with the logic of why that phrase exists.
I don't know. Blue in the face. Whatever. All right. Blue in the face. All right. All financial advisors, including this podcast, have told me to invest in my 401k up to the match since it's free money. I get the full match up to 6% of my income. Pretty good. But only if I contribute that much. I'm currently $25,000 in credit card debt, and I'm sure if I should use my 401k contributions to pay it off, what should I do? I already know what you're going to say to this too, and I'm going to disagree.
Let's roll these sleeves up. I'm ready to fight the audience. Let's go. It is irresponsible of you to be investing into your 401k. You should be paying off that credit card debt with every single penny that you have, including that 401k contribution. And it's going to light a fire up your butt because you are missing out on that free money. And it's going to annoy you, which is going to accelerate how fast you can pay off that credit card debt to get back to that match.
That is assuming they're like you.
Isn't everybody? They are when they work with me, because then we have a monthly check-in call and I'm like, how did this month go? I'm your accountability partner.
In this situation, it has actually motivated my clients and made it feel better that we are working on one goal while working on the other. It can completely take down their energy if they're not like, it almost keeps them going because they're like, okay, I'm saving over here and fixing this problem that I created. And it just sucks. And I asked them, I'm like, look, you could do this. You're giving up this. And you could put 100% towards debt. Or you could do this like mismatched approach of like still getting the match and paying off your credit card debt. What motivates you more? That's the question I ask. Because if it motivates them more to still get the 401k match and pay down the credit card debt, they are more likely to pay down the credit card debt. So I disagree with you. It's a question.
Do you want me to really fire you up into that disagreement with a client story? You ready for this? All right. I have a client. Her daughter just graduated PA school, physician's assistant. She's going to be making like $150. She has a similar amount in debt to go to school. So it's like, say it's 100 for round numbers. She then says, well, I have these retirement plans through work and I can also do a Roth IRA. What should I do? And I'm like, do you want to be normal and take 10 to 15 years to pay off this loan and be like everyone else? Or do you want to be different? And she's like, well, what does different mean? I'm like, go and find the cheapest rental place you can, or if your mom will allow it, live with her. Your sole focus is to pay off that student loan as quickly as you can. If you can be 30, earning, assuming increases, 175 with no debt, now you get to start life as someone completely abnormal in today's world. But are you willing to sacrifice for it?
So you gave her the question. What did she say?
She lives at home with her mom now.
Is she paying down the debt aggressively?
It took her a couple false starts finding the job, but now she's found it and she's fully embraced it.
Well, I think that's great. That's what motivates her. It works.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ask.
Number 3. My friend is a chef and launched a catering business 2 years ago. It's now extremely successful and he's earning a lot of money. I believe I should start a business to make the same kind of money that he does, but I'm unsure about what to focus on. What are your thoughts? No.
Dave, do you say no a lot to your clients?
Okay, that last part. I'm unsure about what to focus on. Do you have a skill that you can start a business?
You are a no man today. You are a no man.
Well, that's okay. If you weren't qualified to be a financial advisor, would you go out and start a financial advisory business?
Oh, no.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But
if you have,
okay,
if you
but
don't
this
have the
is
skill, don't start a business.
Dave, I started a financial advisory business without ever working for a financial planning firm because I wanted to do it differently.
But you had the knowledge and skill set in order to do the planning.
Okay, true.
But if you have no idea of what you want to do and no direction of where you're going to get that and no funding of what you want to do, you got to do a heck of a lot more than A, convince me you want to do it, and B, the only reason you're doing it is to make the same kind of money your friend does.
That's the wrong reason.
Come
the
on.
money is the wrong reason. That's the wrong reason. If it was, that's what I would ask a lot of questions. I'd ask, did this get you jealous that they own a business? Do you have jealousy in that? Because you want to do something like that. Like, what are your emotions that are tied to that? That's what I'd start asking questions to drill down. Is it for the right reasons or just because they want to make money? If it's just to make more money, then you need to go be an employee, because owning a business, and I've seen a few friends fail at this. If you are not a self-starter, if you have no like self-discipline, or you need to be working with people a lot of the time, or being a business owner is not for everyone. And it's really hard. Those first 2 or 3 years are, I mean, that first 1 to 2 years was probably, I say this openly, like that might have been harder than the first year with my twins.
Well, I think I like saying no because then I want to see their reaction. If it's like, oh, okay, I'm like, then you have no fight for this. If I'm going to tell you no and you're going to fight back, you got some passion behind this. Convince me otherwise.
I would think this with probably some of your clients though, but to work with you, you got to be kind of like, what's the word? You not sensitive. That's not the right word, but like you got to be ready to like prove your points.
My client relationship's a little bit different than how I show up on a podcast.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Because I was like, if I just told some of my clients flat out no, I mean, they might cry. It's emotional.
I would never do this with a client. But if it's a question on a podcast, sure, I have no skin in the game. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. But if a client comes to me and says, I want to start a business, I don't know what I'm going to do. But my brother's running a business and it makes a lot of money and I would like to be like him. You better believe I'm going to be like, come back again when you've designed that business plan and you have the funding and you're ready to be punched in the face repeatedly for the next 3 years. Let's go into highlights.
Do you want to go first?
Oh, do I? Let's talk about the first remodeling project that we just did in the house, which I was excited for. Sarah was not at all. She was like, this makes no difference in my life whatsoever. Our garage floor is like a concrete slab, slowly crumbling. And I'm like, we have to do something about this. So we finally turned around to each other and we're like, let's do it. Got the company out to give a quote because they did down the street, another house. They came out more expensive than I thought, but that's life. I'm like, great, come in and do it. They came and did it. And then I started seeing all these like bumps in the floor. If you're not sure what I'm talking about with garage floors, you can do epoxy and just do a coating with all the sprinkles on top, or you can do a harder plastic, which I think is polyurea, I think it's called, which is a lot harder than epoxy. So we went that way. There's divots in the floor where they did not grind the floor down properly.
It's bumpy? Like, how big are these bumps?
I can see them. I can feel them with my hands. So we called the guys out 3 days afterwards because that's when we could actually step on the floor. And I'm like, look at this. Like, is this what I should be expecting? And he's like, no, they did it wrong. We have to come out and re-grind out all of the work they did, flatten your garage floor, and redo the whole thing.
Not your problem, but I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
So we pay nothing for it because it's under warranty, but still, having garage floor dust and concrete dust everywhere again is just, it's a pain. What's up with you?
We are headed to Park City, Deer Valley, this weekend, doing the 12-hour drive. Ooh. All in one go. We get up at 3:00 in the morning, so the kids sleep for a few hours, and then the iPads come out. This is when their iPads come out, only when we travel. Okay. So it's plane and long car rides, anything over like two hours, they get the iPad.
Okay.
But, yep. And I am really looking forward to it. It's my happy place. So nice. I will be there for the next month. We are going to be out of the heat and with a bigger kitchen, my grandma's kitchen. Alex has a funny thing after living in my grandma's house. He's like, everything is small. The kitchen is small. Like just anything you want to, he's like, it's just small. Like we're ready to have some space. And I'm very thankful of my grandma for letting us, crash her patio home while she's gone. But I'm happy to be out in my happy place. And this is when we really have a lot of good family memories. So
that's fun. Yeah, the drive is not great. You can take in the dog too, right?
Yeah, and do you know where she sits, Dave?
Don't sit on your lap.
In the front seat right next to me for the whole 12 hours.
How? That's a big dog.
I know, 90 pounds. I do yoga. That's all I can say. I'm flexible.
You're going to bend yourself around the dog.
No, but it our house, the car looks ridiculous. But yes, it's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it and out for the summer. I mean, it's just hard at this time in Arizona. You can't be outside. I miss going on my walks. You can't walk. By the time I get the girls to school, it's too hot to walk. And at night, by the time I put them to bed, it's not the right time to go for a walk, right? It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I need to go to sleep.
Jordan, you're up.
All opinions expressed by Dave Grant and Heather Townsend are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the views of their respective wealth management firms. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Nothing in this material constitutes a solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. Clients of Retirement Matters and Townsend Financial may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast.
All right, that was Jordan. We're finishing our podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode of Playbook of the Wealthy. You can find us on whichever platform you listen to podcasts. Watch us on YouTube. It's a different kind of show. I think you'll enjoy it. So if you're listening to podcasts, if you don't like YouTube, you can watch it on Instagram and maybe LinkedIn. If you want to email the show, send us some questions, have yours featured on the show, you can email us at hello@playbookotw.com. And we'll see you next time.
I love your questions. Please send them. Toodles!